giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We are streaming live on YouTube. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! Coming up today, it is Tape Tuesday. And we're going to dive into the film, okay? I didn't want to, but I felt like we had to. And we're going to get an even deeper breakdown on the defensive side with an assist from our guy, J.O., over on Twitter. So it'll be a virtual assist, but I feel like it's needed. I feel like we need to really see it. So I'll give my Sky Optic notes on what I saw from the film. Plus, in the roundup, we got an update on our guy, Jake Ferguson, and we might get a bit of a shakeup in the running back room sooner rather than later, so we'll keep an eye on that. But what's good with your Bomb Squad?
Bomb Squad!
Before we start talking about the Cowboys. What we get? One more time, just one more time. Take it in. It's bad radio. If you can't see what's going on, I've got the beloved, smartest guy in the room, Kellen Moore, here with Saquon Barkley. Ladies and gentlemen, did you see the Monday Night Football game last night? Oh, you want to talk about softening the blow. I can't do that for you. I'm sorry. I couldn't soften the blow to loss. But the Eagles did. The Falcons helped us. And God nabbit, that man, Kellen Moore, saves the day once again. Hey, we tried to told him. We tried, and you know what the Kellen stand is going to say. Oh, well, Sky, he should have caught the ball. It wasn't great. No. He should have never threw the ball. How many times did we go down this road for 4 seasons with Kellen Moore and his situational play calling? There's no way in hell, with a minute and 40 seconds left, 3rd and 4, after Saquon is just tearing these dudes up, you don't run the ball and get at least 2 or 3 and then do the tush push and make them push, tush, cush, whatever they call it, and make them go down the length of the field 95 yards or whatever if you don't convert it. But no, great play call. You should have caught it. Yeah, you should have caught it. But see, the problem is it's really not about the score, kicking a field goal, getting the first. It was about the clock. And how many times did we come on here? Like, oh, man, Kellen had a pretty good cut. But in the red zone, oh, man, Kellen had a good. But situationally, so many times, man, so many times. So many people was like, I miss Kellen Moore. Why? Look, it's not about getting rid of Kellen. It's about replacing him. And I look, if you go back and look at my receipts, I was calling for Bobby Slowick 2 years ago. Okay? Anybody that took a sip of the Shanahan tree, bring them in here. That's what I wanted. They went with McCarthy, and we had to figure it all out, and here we are. But I don't think it might window dress and look a little better with Kellen, but it's going to be the end result, the same end result. We're sitting here like, what are we doing? But I just thought it was hilarious, man. And then to top it off, Kirk Cousins goes bink, 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 touchdown. I mean, like that, right? Give the ball back to Hurts. He goes bink, pick, interception, game over. Way to soften the blow for me, Philly. Way to soften the blow for me. See, look right there. Good play call, bad result. Terrible play call. Run the ball. The game's over. It's that simple. It's that simple. But you know what? I hope everybody in Philly is saying the same thing. I hope they're going to Kellen like, hey, man, it's okay. You keep being you, Kellen. You keep being you out there, buddy. And this is going to happen again and again and again. It happened in week 1. They got lucky. Anyway, man, let's hit this roundup. I just had to have a little fun with these Eagles, man. I need to have a little bit of fun. We had no fun this past weekend with the Cowboys. Let's get to this roundup, though.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you, Cowboys Nation. We got some updates on Jake Ferguson. Coach spoke with the media yesterday. He said, quote, I was told we had a good workout today in regards to Jake Ferguson. And that was yesterday. But he said, we'll see how he comes in this week. I'm hopeful he can play. That last part right there, he's like, man, look, I saw what happened last week. We need Jake Ferguson. I'm hopeful he can play. And going up against a Baltimore team that's desperate, respectable defense, it's not going to be easy. Top tier linebackers, top tier safety. So Ferg is going to be in a battle regardless. So you're going to need your top guys against their top guys. And again, this is no indictment. I said this yesterday to Luke Schoonmaker. You know, he went out there and had his best game of his career. Didn't score a touchdown, but I thought this was the best game of his career as a receiver. But you're going to need Ferg in this one. Coach was also asked about Dalvin Cook. He said, quote, he looks good. Understanding the big thing for a vet is just the terminology, frankly. Just the language adjustments. And I think he's progressed very, very nicely since he's been here. He's a natural. This is the one right here. Outside zone runner. But yeah, he looks good. He's getting there. You know, when he said just him saying that he's a natural outside zone runner, I wonder if an elevation of Dalvin Cook will force the Cowboys to adopt some form of an outside zone, because they have absolutely none of it right now. Or is this their way of saying, look, man, what he does best, we don't do. But at this point, after what we've seen the first 2 weeks, I mean, a Dalvin Cook call-up has to happen sooner rather than later, right? Not as the savior, because I don't think there's a savior on this roster for the run game, but as just another option. Like, what do you have to lose? I don't think the scheme is changing anytime soon. It's doing the backs no favors, and you don't have a back that's like that. So you got to try to throw things there, right? And I'd imagine at some point Dalvin Cook, or they're going to look at this run game and say, all right, we got to see if there's somebody that can create. I don't personally believe that's the case, you know, because you're going to have to ask them to do it over and over and over and over again. But what do you got to lose? What do you have to lose after watching the first 2 weeks of this run game? The how is important too. The results, you know, there's context to it, but I'm not as confident moving forward with this backfield because they haven't changed the how. So for me, I'm still looking to go get somebody. You hate to have to trade for a back, but what else can you do here? There's no juice, man. There's just no juice back there. The one guy that has that type of wiggle on the outside, you continue to run in the A and B gaps. Let's get to this breakdown on the offensive film that I saw. Sky Optics offense. I talked about how the two schemes were night and day when you go look at what the Cowboys do and what the Saints do. This right here shows it easily, just in the motion rate itself. The Cowboys only motion 33% of the time. The Saints 74%. And this is the second week. If you really watch how they run, which the run game, it was over with after once you got into, it was 28 to 13 or whatever. They pretty much just gave up on it in a sense. But if you go and watch the run, there's no type of motion during the run either. And the only type of post-snap action they have for the run is, oh, well, we're going to bring the tight end across, like we talked about last week. Bring the tight end across and hope that it holds your linebacker. And like I said last week, if that's all we got, then damn it, spam it. Spam it. They averaged 2.5 yards per carry on first down runs. They had 8 first down runs. All of them happened between the first and third quarters where you could arguably say, hey, man, it was still in earshot. Once you got down 35-13, it was tough, but it was still in earshot. 2.5 yards per carry on first downs. After the third, fourth, fifth time, you might say, maybe running on first down is not smart. They kept doing it. No easy buttons. No easy buttons in this game. We showed a play last week where, and they did this formation where they had the two backs. Well, Turpin as a back. Turpin and Deuce Vaughn in the backfield, and they would motion Turpin and run the ball or throw it. They went back-to-back plays with that same thing. That's their version of creativity. Motion Turpin, and they ran it to Deuce Vaughn in the A-gap. Nothing. Motion Turpin, throw it to Turpin. He's got the sideline and a defender, and he gets like 2 yards. That was their version of easy buttons in this game. Everything else it had to be earned. I mean, they made the Cowboys fight for everything. Not because they were just playing stifling, man-to-man defense or anything, but you just didn't present anything to create separation, have here separation issues. So far this season, 2 games only, Dak has the second highest tight window throw rate in the NFL. He's targeted Lamb 9 times on tight window throws, 3 for 9. And Lamb's no slouch. Lamb can get busy, but teams understand, okay, well, if we make things tough around Lamb, then he has to force a tight window throw, or they're just going to run a slant to the middle of the defense. Without Jake Ferguson, it's been tough sledding for Dak in that intermediate middle of the field. Only 6 attempts over the first 2 games, 2 completions. And the interception at the end, towards the end of the game, forcing it to CD Lamb. It's very similar to last year. That's all I'm saying to start this offense. And again, or to start this season. And again, yesterday, a lot of emotion. Today, it's just basically just giving you what I saw on film. Taking a lot of this emotion out of it. They're going to have to figure out how to get some guys loose for either easy buttons, separation, whatever. Because like I said before, I don't think the other side of the field, that team has some amazing receiver duo or receiver core, whatever. They got good players, don't get me wrong. I think Shaheed and Olave are fantastic, right? But we're not like, oh man, this is Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, right? But they use the guys they had. They use what they do well to their advantage. And we're going to go to the other side here in a second, but I just kind of want to give you what I saw offensively. It's really interesting. I don't want to say I enjoyed, but watching the defensive film suck from a Cowboys standpoint, but at least I can get an understanding of what happened here. Offensively, it was pretty easy. You pop it on, you're like, I mean, you can't run. You have no run creativity, and you have no creativity in the pass game. This is pretty cut and dry. There's really nothing else here. And what do I always say about this? When you have this particular type of offense, you can't miss the opportunities, especially when the defense is giving up touchdowns every single play. You can't miss an out. You can't have miscommunication. Oh, CD Lamb runs the seam, but I'm throwing the 7. Can't have that. Ezekiel Elliott out in the flat. I know you don't want to loft it and maybe a pick, but you can't dirt it. I know the pressure's there, but you can't dirt it. Brooks open in the middle of the field. You can't fall. You don't have the luxury of error. And that's just the reality when a game goes like this, where you go look around the league. We talked about it with a lot of these teams yesterday. Hell, even last night, Eagles offense wasn't steamrolling. They had 18 points up until that field goal at the end of the game. But the defense kept them in it. Same thing. Falcons offense was not steamrolling. But the margin of error was greater because the defense kept them in the game. So when the defense is not doing that, unfortunately, fair or not fair, you put tons of pressure on the offense, and the offense has to convert every single time there's an opportunity. Can't miss it. That's a ton of pressure, man. That's not sustainable, obviously, right? But that's the reality of that game. It's the reality of that game. Professor O said, when teams send a 4-man rush and get immediate pressure despite us spamming the O-line button in round 1, love it. I mean, in that first half, I didn't even feel like they got a ton of crazy pressure immediately. At one point, Dak was like 13 for 16 or something like that. I know the big play to CD Lamb, but it didn't feel like it was like immediate pressure. Now, once the ears got pinned back and you got into that second half, yeah, it was game over. It was game over. But they just dropped. What happened is exactly what we thought happened, what we talked about coming into this game. Are they going to be aggressive to get him, or are they going to drop back a bunch of guys in coverage and pray to cover or the pressure gets home? I don't think the pressure got home particularly quick in that first half. I thought Dak had a lot of time to kind of survey the field, but there just wasn't nothing there, so we just dumped it off. And another thing I noticed, and we'll talk about this on the other side of the ball, things felt deliberate game plan wise. Like, this is what we're going to do for the Saints. This is how we're going to do it. We got a plan. We got a plan of attack. Where Dallas was kind of like, all right, we're just figuring out what to do here. We're throwing things at the wall. Hey, Turpin and Deuce Vaughn in the backfield, random is all hell. Since when is that part of what we do, right? Since when has that been a success? How about we do what works to get us going first? How about you have a solid plan? You saw the game plan in Cleveland the first 3 or 4 possessions. You're like, okay, that makes sense. Move in the pocket, helping out your O-line, play action, under center. That was making sense. I mean, Calvin, what do you mean that shouldn't happen? Kamara's a great back. That's going to happen. If you think rushers are just going to get home 100% of the time when there's a chips at them, that's just delusion. How about we give credit to Alvin Kamara? It was a fantastic pickup. All right. Now, he almost got there, but didn't get there in time. Let's go to the other side of the ball. New Orleans lived out of some form of 12 and 21 personnel. I don't even recall them being in 11 that much. Maybe a handful of plays. And what that does is it keeps you in base. We talked about this, I think, in the post game. This is the most base we've seen them play forever, especially under Dan Quinn. They don't run a normal base 4-3 defense. This game they did. And when doing that, they mirrored their pass game to their run game. And the reason why that's tough to deal with, and a lot of people kind of poo-poo this style of offense, but the reason why this makes it tough is because you can do 10 different things out of a similar look, whether it's pre-snap or whether it's post-snap. People like to say, oh, well, that's not creativity. Yes, it is. When I can do 10 different things out of one personnel group, that's a damn creative offense. Sometimes it can be just basic things. Other times it'll be something that'll throw you off. And one of my favorite things to do when studying opponents or the Cowboys or whatever when it comes to offensive film is the first 15, the first 48. The first 15, man. That tells you a lot about what is about to happen in this game from a game plan standpoint. And if you look at the first 15, like I just talked about a few minutes ago, Kubiak was clearly setting up for the day. He was telling a story early, and then he hit you with a swerve at the right time. And as soon as the Saints felt like, oh, they're on their heels. They're on their heels. Let's just keep coming downhill. It became easy money, man. Now, here's where there's a bit of a misconception. Because of the result of the game, the very first thing we're going to look at, and I totally get this. Bro, they got their asses ran on. They got bullied down the field on the ground. Not so fast, my friend. They didn't come out bullying you, down the field via the run. They might have set you up with run looks. It might have looked like heavy personnel, but I think because of the way the game ended up, you forget how we got there. The very first possession of the game, they go down in like 8 plays, 80 yards or whatever. Kamara ran the ball twice. A 1-yard gain, a 5-yard gain. The one for a touchdown. Well, Sky scored a touchdown. How'd they get there? This is how they got there. I wrote it down. 17 yards to Shaheed. 9 yards to Shaheed. A reverse to Shaheed. And a 39-yard pass to Olave. All of them is wide open. Out of condensed looks that look like a run, wide open. They got down the field throwing on your ass. Okay, second possession. Play action, deep shot. 70-yard touchdown. They ran the ball 2 times and they got 14 points. Third possession. Kamara, 3-yard run. Olave, 7-yard pass, first down. Kamara, 3-yard run. Derek Carr, 57-yard screen pass. 21 points, just like that. They ran the ball 4 times for like 10 yards. Now we got you. Now the playbook is wide open. We're up 21-3 or whatever it might be, 21-6. I don't know what the score was. We're up big. You have no idea what we're doing, and we didn't even begin to go at you with the run game. We didn't even begin it yet. But see, we forget how we got there because the end result shows Kamara got 150 yards or whatever it was, 4 touchdowns, 5-some yards per carry. He was averaging less than about 3 yards per carry when the score was 21-3. And once they got up, they won in a bag of running plays to the outside, and it was a wrap. It was a wrap. But I don't want people to get too far removed from how we got there. And that first 15 is the real story. It's not that they ran the ball for a bajillion yards. Because when you get up, what do, squad? You run the ball. That's just how it goes. No one's going to really think about it because you're going to see the end result. Mike Zimmer talked about how, hey man, we have to get better. I got to get better. I love how he takes that type of accountability. I think that's starting to permeate throughout that team. But I've got to be better. I had to be better at getting them into what we do best, and that's our third down situations. I don't even know if they faced like 1 third down in the first 3 possessions. But once again, before they even began to run, 70-yard touchdown, 57-yard pass play, 57-yard touchdown, pass play, 70-yard touchdown, pass play, 39-yard pass play, 17-yard pass play, 9-yard pass play, 7-yard pass play. 4 rushes for like 10 yards. 21-3. But no one wants to give credit to the scheme. That's what I noticed on Twitter. They want to poo-poo Kubiak and them in their scheme because we got punched in the mouth. Yeah, you got punched in the mouth. You got punched in the mouth after you didn't see this coming. You were already on the ground by the time they start punching you in the mouth, man. And once they start doing that, the one thing that stuck out the most to me was the defensive tackle play. It was atrocious. It was absolutely atrocious. And I want to give a shout out real quick to John. I mean, he's now back posting these clips. This is going to be awesome to see week in, week out. Let me make sure I got this pulled up. We're going to take a look at John Owning's clips, and we're going to read what he wrote about it. I mean, he does a fantastic evaluation. So in this clip, we'll let it run. We'll read it here. He says, this is what it looks like when 650 plus pounds get their butt kicked in the run game. This was the first touchdown after they threw the ball to get down there 5 yards. He says, Linval Joseph gets initially reached by the left guard, and instead of trying to fight his way back over the top to get his gap, he tries to run around the block despite being the slowest player on the field. Jordan Phillips simply gets taken to the cleaners. Ruiz, number 51, gets driven back into the end zone. Real quick, let me try to fix this. All right, bet. So there's play number 1 showing the defensive tackles just not getting it here. Play number 2. Joseph again gets immediately reached and sealed by the center while Phillips once again gets bullied. You can see the indecision it creates in Leofau, which something that I'm noticing with Leofau, and you're going to see another play. We saw it in preseason as well. He sometimes just attacks the wrong shoulder, and that just creates a running lane for the running back. A lot of snaps for Leofau. Another play. You'll see a theme here. Joseph reached again, leaving Overshown high and dry by forcing him to fill 2 gaps while taking on a block. Overshown right there, number 13. Indecisive, obviously, because there's 2 gaps to the outside. By the way, I think we're about to get to this here. Actually, I'm gonna let it go a little bit more, and then we'll get to it. Goal line defense. 900 plus pounds playing the interior 3 spots. Your nose tackle can't get low enough to stalemate the push, causing him to concede 3 yards of ground, which gives Carter easy tutty. Same old story. Joseph tries to swim over the combo block, which only allows the center to reach and seal him out of the play side A gap, but it also allows the right guard to immediately get to Damone Clark on the second level. This reminds me of the Arizona game where Big Hank was trying to play like he was a 3-tech. I'm sitting here like, hey, Hank, what are we doing here, bro? That's not your game. And Linval Joseph was doing some things. It's like, this is not your game, man. And this is where things get interesting because, you know, a lot of people, again, they box score watch, broadcast watch, and they come away and they have these crazy opinions. And one of them was, oh, Micah played the run game terribly. Not the case at all. Micah correctly spills the run outside here versus the pullers, but Leofau stays on the inside for some reason, enabling Kamara to bounce to the perimeter for another 10-yard gain. Again, I don't know why Leofau, he struggled a lot in this game. I saw him in preseason do something like this as well. You know, Micah gives you the edge for you by spilling it outside, and I don't know, bro, you just bounce it inside. Once again, Micah sets the edge well here, but Leofau doesn't take on the block correctly, which leaves up the A gap and enables Kamara to get to the end zone. This is where y'all gonna have to pick a struggle. Y'all want Micah to be a disciplined player. Y'all want Micah to play, you know, contain the edges, set the edges, and when he does it and nobody else makes a play, you get mad at Micah. Micah set the edge very well in this game. He played team ball. But you need your linebacker to get down and make the tackle. Leofau, again, when he decides to just go, he's head down, just run somebody over. He can't do that, bro. Because if you play that outside shoulder, Kendricks is there once he has to cut back in or you got to tackle. Now, they probably score anyway, but this is just a common thing. Another great edge set by Micah, and D-Law gets play side penetration, but Nealon gets too far upfield, pursuing from the backside, leaving Kamara a crease to cut back for another notable game. Again, set the edge, force it back inside, but we're going to scream at Micah because he ain't make the play. He's just doing his job. Nealon's young, he'll learn. Maybe you'd like to see Overshown come down. Maybe Micah can beeline down the line of scrimmage like a blur. Somehow, some way, D-Law and Micah run into each other, but shit happens. I think this is the last one. Yep. Invader Zim was so fed up with the run D woes that he played some 5-2. Osa makes the play while Micah sets the edge. Again, here we go. Another play where Micah sets the edge, forces it back inside, plays it well. If you do want to force it, come outside, he's right there waiting for it. So I wanted to show some of these plays. Appreciate you, John Oney, for dropping this, mostly because of the defensive tackle situation. And a lot of these is when, again, all these are runs, right? And a lot of these runs, aside from the first one, the game was extremely out of hand, or it got out of hand because they threw it out of hand. Good stuff, though, from John Oney. Appreciate you, man. So, once again, if I could take something from this game where I say I'm still in that, it's really the ability for them to do so many different things out of 12 and 21 personnel. I'm a big guy on first 15. I'm not a fan of it with McCarthy. I don't think he has a great first 15 at all, like almost ever. Kellen he has some good first 15s. Very inconsistent, but he has some good first 15s. If I could steal something, man, I'm telling you, it's how this type of scheme operates to open the game, because it does set the tone for how they want you to play. And I know a lot of people, once again, are going to poo-poo the scheme and say, well, it's about being physical. Well, isn't it a coincidence that all the teams that we use the term or coin the term physical with, they run some type of variation of this? San Francisco, Detroit, Houston, New Orleans now. Hell, the Packers adopted this physical approach last year. You saw what they did this past week. The Vikings are doing that to help out Sam Darnold. Even the Cardinals bring some of that. It's not a coincidence to me, because when you have that philosophy, I do think it permeates throughout the entire team. Now, obviously, it has to start from the top down. You can't just come out and say, Mike McCarthy, we want to be more physical. You have to show it. You can't just say it. These teams show it. Even the teams that don't have that type of offense, it's in their nature, right? Like Pittsburgh and Baltimore. You don't got to worry about that, because from the top down, that's how they build their team. But what a coincidence. All these offenses. Even if you go back and look at what Mike McDaniel said. He was like, yeah, I know we're a great passing team, but we want to set the tone physically. Hence why we're also one of the best, well, last year, one of the best running teams. Because we want to set the tone. Now, they're a lot more finesse in how they do it, but all of it is built off of that type of action and being physical. Now, not every team can match it. Not every team has the offense and defense to match it. But you can't just talk it. You got to be it. And in New Orleans, they went out and said, no, we're not just going to talk it. The first 2 weeks of the season, at the very least, they've come out with the physical approach. And even being so, it's not like, oh, we're running the ball 45 times. No, they have a very efficient passing offense too, because it marries to their run game. Now, I'm reasonable, y'all. Y'all know me. I'm not asking for a lot. I know we're not going to overnight just be these type of teams. I'm asking for something simple. If we can start with the run game marrying the offensive or the pass game, I'll get off of Mike. I will. Until then, with this backfield, with this run blocking unit, in this scheme, expect more 2.5 yards per carry on first down. Expect more second and longs, third and longs, 488, 87, go save us. It's not going to get you far, bro. It's not going to get you far. There needs to be a philosophical change or tweak to this thing. And again, it sounds like if it's deja vu, because it is, we had the same conversation last year. The same one. And no, I didn't ignore week 1. And I ain't ignoring week 2. Did Mozzie make a single tackle? I'm not sure, but John was like, hey, Mozzie was the best defensive tackle, and he wasn't good. I'm not a big grades guy, PFF grades guy. I just can't stand looking at the grades because sometimes it doesn't make sense. But if you are a big PFF grades guy, go look at the Cowboys' run defensive grades and go look who's at the bottom. The last 4 or 5 guys at the bottom are all defensive tackles. So PFF did not think those tackles fared very well. All right, let's get some callers up in here. 3-3. Is this the Saints guy? Because if it's the Saints guy, man, you have all all the ability in the world right now to come gloat. Is this the Saints guy?
But like I say, I just want to say, I told you, Rashid's speed is not Jerry Judy's speed. That's the only thing I want to say.
Hey, let me tell you this. I never disrespect Rashid's speed. If you watch the show, I'm not sure if you did.
Well, you said Jerry Judy had speed, but I told you. He did. My bad, but interrupt you. But you said Jerry Judy had speed, and he was on like Rashid, but Rashid's not on Jerry Judy's speed.
No, he's faster for sure, but they didn't use Jerry Judy like Rashid, right? If you listen to my rebuttal, it was, hey, we have the scheme. I'm worried about the scheme. Now, Rashid straight up outran the safeties, but I never disrespect Rashid. Yeah. Where I went off was when you said we can't cover your tight ends, bro, because we ain't got linebackers. Your tight ends didn't have a single catch.
Tight ends. That's what you feel me? I know, but some of your linebackers, they got speed, but it wasn't enough to keep the outside run. That's what I'm saying. Y'all speed.
No. That's not what you said. You told me we don't have tight ends. We don't have the linebackers to keep up with the tight ends, and that's when I said, look, brother, you don't really watch us, and I totally get that. But I'm breaking you guys down. So if you stuck around, and you saw how I broke you guys down.
Yeah, and then I'm saying, like, that's why I was saying, if they locked down Rashid in them, but they didn't lock down Rashid, that's why we didn't go to the tight ends.
Well, you didn't need to go to the tight ends. But even if you did,
we didn't need to go to
even personally, and we'll never know, right? But personally, even if you did, I'm not worried about the tight end speed against our linebackers. That was the least of my worries. My worries was how Kubiak was going to set up the run game and the pass game schematically, and that's exactly how it played out the first quarter of the game. I mean, he just straight up owned us, and then after that, it was just hand the ball off outside 30 times to Kamara and them boys, and game over.
Yeah, and it was just them over route crossing. Y'all DBs the speed, they just keep up with Rashid and Chris. That was the thing.
Yeah, but that's part, in my opinion, if I may, in my opinion, that is because of how Kubiak set it up. Almost no defensive back in the National Football League can really cover a crossing route from one side of the field to the other side of the field when your quarterback has time. I've talked to DBs, I've talked to receivers. It's almost an impossibility. And they use that.
I know that.
We don't.
But you got two safeties. Ain't nobody really supposed to be two safeties unless it's speed. That's the only reason you got over them was his speed.
That's just one play. That's just one play out of a bajillion.
But that one play set the momentum.
No, it wasn't. The first drive set the momentum to me. One big play like that is more of a fluke than anything. Which is why it doesn't happen. You don't see it happen every single play. We saw y'all do things every single play, down in, down out, that kept happening that we couldn't stop. To me, that's more momentum than one big play. Great play, but you could survive that. What you couldn't survive was the body blows that Kubiak and the offensive line.
Not the Cowboys. The Cowboys can't survive going down. Y'all play like they say.
I'm speaking in general. I'm speaking in general.
But I'm saying with these two teams, like us, we can't play from behind either. So we got to stick up first. I'm going to say that as a Saints fan. When we start trailing from behind it off, defense start breaking down. Offense start doing shit they don't want to do. You know.
Well, Saints fan, you don't know just quite yet because you didn't have Kubiak last year. So
No, I'm saying
wait.
in passing our defensive coordinator. I know our defensive coordinator. If we're playing from a lead, because our defensive coordinator was the head coach for the past.
Okay, you're talking about
coach,
defense.
was,
I'm okay.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm
yeah.
saying
I thought you were
defense.
talking
Our
about your
defense
offense.
is
I'm
on
saying
the
you don't
break
know
down
yet
when
with
we
your
start
offense.
losing against the lead.
All right, man.
Like if we down like 14-3, they're gonna break up. You know.
You would know more than I
That's what
would, but I'm interested to see how the offensive side responds to something like
Yeah,
that.
continue. Yeah, that's what I want to see. That's why I just want to have a good game this week. Hopefully, we blow out the Eagles for y'all, though.
Hey, man, I usually don't root for a team that just whooped their ass like that, but I'm 100% rooting for the Saints this week.
I know you can't. I know you can't root for a division team, though.
Hell no. Oh, I hate the Eagles. I would never. But appreciate the call, man.
I know. All right, man. Have a good one.
You too. You know, I said this on Twitter. I can't be mad at the Saints fans. He could have came in here and went crazy. He didn't even. I would have acted a fool whooping a team like that. But thanks, brother. Appreciate you, man. I said on Twitter, look, I was at a Saints watch party. That's the hell what we did on Sunday. I hated it. But they were so cool. I couldn't even get mad at them. I couldn't even get mad at Saints fans, man. I've been around a lot of fans over the last 4 years. A lot of fans have come to Texas and almost taken over. Saints might be number one. Seriously. They might be number one. All right. Let's keep it moving. Who? Mac Jones.
Scott, what's going on, man?
What's up, brother?
Okay, so I was sad, I was hurt, but Monday Night Football made me happy again. Because I remember Sky pointing out plays that Kellen Moore would do. Huh?
No, I'm setting up. You keep talking.
Oh, I remember what plays you would show us in the last, like, 3-4 years that Kellen Moore would do, and you'd be like, why call this play? Why call this play? So I'm sitting there watching it, and I couldn't believe they did a pass. Why? Are you trying to pad up his stats? What are you trying to do? That's Kellen Moore. He always did that to us. I remember you would show us this guy, and I couldn't believe it. All I could do was laugh because I said, Kirk Cousins is going to torch you. Why? Because he got time. He's got time. He believes now. But I'm just saying that just made my day, man. Just seeing Kellen Moore do that made my day. So that made my day, and, you know, everybody lost. So it was humble pie week. And sometimes that happens in football, where everybody gets humble pie.
And the Niners are dealing with some big injuries. The Eagles could be without A.J. Brown for a couple more weeks.
Couple weeks, yep. Yeah. And they play the Saints next week.
They play the Saints.
They play the Saints.
They play the Saints this week. I think the Saints can get at them. Just saying.
Yep. Exactly. So, and I mean, that's all I had to say. But also, you know, shout out to the Saints fans. You know, but I told the Saints fans when I was headed to work and I had my Cowboys gear on. Man, when the last time did y'all beat us? We was kind of like Big Brother, you know. So y'all beat us, but we was Big Brother. We've been beating y'all for the last 4 years, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know. We've been exchanging blows, right? I mean, we beat them in 2021. They beat us in 2019. We beat them in 2018, and I can't remember. What year was it? 09. We beat them in 09. I remember that vividly. They beat us at Thanksgiving. Now we've been exchanging blows, I think, over the last decade plus.
Oh, we have?
Yeah, we've been exchanging some blows.
Okay. Well, you know, like I said, you've been calling out Kellen Moore, and now I'm glad that somebody else has this problem. And him being in that division, I still think the division's ours. That's all I got.
Appreciate you, Mac Jones. Man, this year was so, like, history has a way of repeating itself, but also you can't just rely on history. But how do you go against 24 years of evidence? 20 years of evidence where no division winner has repeated. I don't understand it. But as much as I would love the Cowboys to win the division, They haven't won back-to-back divisions since what, 06, 07? Something like that. Been a long time. Oh, in fact, no, they haven't won the division in back-to-back further than that. The Eagles were the last team to do it. Jeez. $972. What it is, what it do? 972, you live.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, man? What's on your mind? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
972, going once.
Hey, are you there?
There you go. Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, okay, cool. Well, I was gonna say, all right, the Eagles lost. That's a great thing. Now everybody's 1-1, and you can't let that defeat us, man. You have to come back and
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
play better. You know what I'm saying? But got to coach yourself back up and practice better, play better, and make plays. You got to play some defense, guys. You know, do you think they put ball at safety?
You mean Bell?
Huh?
Did you say this again?
I said, do you think they put Bell at safety?
Bell. No, I think Wanye should be the next man up.
Who's faster?
A good question. Probably. That's a good question. I don't know what the 40 time would say, but I know probably Bell, but I think Wanye from a coverage standpoint is fast. Like an on the field football speed. I've seen Wanye be fast. But it's not about speed. I know Shaheed just broke the camel's back here. It's not just about speed, it's about instincts. You know, as safety, it's more so about instincts. But I talked to one of my former NFL friends. He was a former defensive back for a long time. Played safety, played corner. I said, hey, man, can you give me your player analysis on what happened in that play, right? And he's a big fan of Malik, but is like, and I'm going to quote him, matter of fact. I don't want to misquote him. This is what he said about the play. He said, you know, I love Hook, but, man, he was running in mud on that play. No pre-snap recognition of 22 and cut split. And he said backside safety got to be aware and help out too. So, you know, that kind of along the same lines of what I said yesterday. I gave about 80% of it to Malik because once you see Shaheed is just full head of steam running at you, get out of your back pedal, bro. Get out and get back. And then, you know, again, this is why the scheme is important. What they did on the other side was they sent Olave on a deep post. So obviously Dono is going to react to the deep post to try to guard the middle of the field. So that's going to, if it just takes his attention away for a split second, that's all that's needed for Shaheed, and he was able to get the angle. But if Dono is like, okay, there's 22 over there, I'll allow Olave to run into hopefully a zoned corner because the corner was dropping back. Then I'm just going to follow Shaheed. So that's where kind of that awareness comes in, where you just got to say, look, if I have to peel off, I'll peel off because I see this coming. So it's kind of that play worked out.
I don't want them to do, like, you know how Roy Williams is good at hitting people but didn't expose them after Santana Moss kind of burnt them on Monday night. I don't want that to happen to us, so we have to make an adjustment there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying Malik Hooker is Roy Williams, but I'm saying he can't cover, bro.
See, I think we're overreacting. Like, look, man, I want Wanye out there. If they throw him out there, I'm going to throw a party. But you don't have enough evidence to say that after 2 weeks, when the first week, the safeties played phenomenally. The second week, the entire defense, Trayvon Diggs looked awful in that game. Carson's looked awful in that game, right? The safeties did not play well from that play standpoint, right? The entire team. So if that's the case, then bench everybody. That's the only reason why I'm pushing back a little bit, because it's like, it's one thing if it was just the safeties that got beat. It's one thing if it was just a corner, if it was just a DB, if it was just a linebacker. But everybody on every level was not good. And if they were that good on the opposite side on week one, and then that bad in week two, there has to be a middle ground. So next week, we see how this thing goes. And if we see a repeat of that, yeah, you definitely start looking around and saying, okay, this isn't just a one-off. You might have to come off the field, or you might have to come off the field. But I'm not going to overreact to what was one of the worst defensive games I've ever seen. Because if that's the case, bench everybody, brother.
I can't do. You can beat Baltimore. Got to stop the run and got to score touchdowns, not field goals, man.
Got to score touchdowns. 24 offensive possessions, 3 touchdowns this year. Not going to cut it.
Yeah, we got. That's not going to cut it. Mike McCarthy on the seat, though. See what happens, man. You have a blessed week, okay?
You too, bro.
Take care, okay?
You as well, man. Thanks for the call. Yeah, look, man, I'm the biggest Wanye advocate here. I want to see Wanye out there, no doubt about it. But if we're going to have to give equal smoke everywhere if that's the case. I say this all the time. The worst thing you can do, and Coach Zim said this too. I told him last week, don't get too high. Told him this week, don't get too low. The worst thing you can do is after a loss, use the emotion to make a decision. I want to see Wanye out there, no doubt about it. But not because of what happened in week 2. I wanted to see him out there in camp. Because after week 1, you couldn't say that. So it's just too drastic of a difference. Great play, terrible play. You can't make a true assessment off of that. In my opinion. Just me, in my opinion. 954, you live. What was that?
Thank you. That was good.
954, you working out?
Sky. Hey, Sky.
What's going on, man?
All's well. I've been watching you and Watch for a while. This first time I finally got to call in.
Oh, man. Well, welcome to
been
the
watching
show.
you guys for at least 5 years. I've been following you guys. Finally, took a chance to call in. But let me ask you a question. If my name is Sherry Jones, and I said I'm going to hire you as my head coach, but I'm running the show, and when things go bad, you're going to have to take the fault. Give whatever excuse you can. Just say something. And I feel that has been what the coaches have been doing from Jason Garrett all the way to Mike McCarthy. I feel that last week, Antoine Zimmer got too much credit, too much hype, and Jerry Jones was not pleased with that. So I really feel in my heart of hearts, somehow, some way, he interfered with it somehow. I remember there was a game where Zeke had 2 fumbles. This was before he got cut. He had 2 fumbles in the game. Mike McCarthy sat it, benched it. The report was Jerry had called down and said he wants his $15 million running back on the field. He doesn't care if he's fumbling. So how can an organization go forward when you have an owner who believes he knows more football than anybody else, and he always interferes at the wrong time? How do you overcome that?
It's difficult. I want to go back to the Mike Zimmer thing though, real quick, because offensively, there is definitely truth to him dictating who touches the rock. That's been proven fact. But how does he do that with Mike Zimmer? That's what I'm curious about. You said you think he got jealous that Mike Zimmer was getting credit, so he interfered. Like, what could he have possibly done there in that way?
Personnel. It could have been, let me dictate the personnel, because we still, like, the reasoning they're giving why Overshone wasn't on the field, it still doesn't make sense. And it's like, we have to tell the press something.
Well, Zimmer did come out and say that they were going to rotate guys back in August, right back in camp. So that doesn't surprise me that that's what they did. It was just frustrating because of what Overshone did in week 2. I don't think that's week 1. I don't think that's Jerry personally coming down and saying, well, this guy had a fantastic game, our 3rd round pick. I need you to bench him for our 3rd round pick this year. Like, I don't know if that's the case. But your overall sentiment of Jerry Jones kind of meddling or what have you, that's because he hires guys that allow him to do so. That's why that
exactly.
happens.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, me and B Bird, and for those who are new, we've had this conversation. I mean, it seems like every year. When there's been confrontation in this organization, when there's been a head coach that pushed back to Jerry Jones, you saw two eras of the Cowboys, right? You saw the Jimmy Johnson era, and you saw Bill Parcells. The Jimmy Johnson era gave you the Super Bowls. Bill Parcells ushered you into this kind of consistently competitive team. Now, they're not a consistent Super Bowl team, but they're a consistent competitive team because Parcells set them up that way, in my opinion. But then he doesn't like that. So what happens? When he gets rid of that type of coach, he brings in yes men, Chan Gailey, Dave Campo, Barry Switzer. And then he's like, oh, wait, let me try to mix it up. To go gets Bill Parcells, doesn't like it. What does he do? Jason Garrett, Mike McCarthy, Wade Phillips. These guys aren't going to rock the boat. And unfortunately, this is what I always say. If you want to rock the boat, you're going to have to lie on your resume. You're going to have to lie to Jerry Jones in his face to get the job. And then when you get the job, do shit your way. And if it's obviously working and he doesn't like it, say, fire me. You look like a plum fool. And I'll get picked up somewhere else. But, you know, and look, no offense to McCarthy, but McCarthy, I think he could be like a good general of in a sense of, hey, man, you know, I'm part of the organization, but in reality, he probably should hire a coordinator that is more fit for this day and age in the NFL. I do think he knows how to get his guys prepared from a physical standpoint. Like, he does those type of things well, but I don't think.
And the crazy thing is, we have had offensive players speak out. Oftentimes, we had CD last season. He was complaining, I think, to week 5, like, this isn't working. Give me the ball. We had Amari Cooper complaining about certain schemes, certain routes. This isn't working. Like, we need to switch it up. And like, players and all had some complaints, but it's like even the wide receiver we had that went to Buffalo,
Cole Beasley,
short guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cole Beasley. All them spoke out about this, and it's like it's the same thing. No matter what coach we have, no matter what offensive coordinator, it's like, I don't know if it's a scheme. I know Amari Cooper. They were saying that was a purpose, that they wanted to make his stats look low so they don't have to pay him. And it's like, these routes aren't working. They're going to figure it out, like we're doing the same thing, same vanilla offense all the time.
That's not the issue in this offense. CeeDee Lamb doesn't have an issue of getting targets. That's not the problem. CeeDee Lamb is one of the most targeted wide receivers in this offense. I don't think Jerry is telling them not to throw it to CeeDee or anything.
It was the problem last season.
Say again?
It was the problem at the beginning of last season. He wasn't getting the targets he wanted, but after they started giving him the ball, they saw what he could do, and it was like, yeah.
Well, they knew what he can do. This was McCarthy trying to, hey man, we don't need to spam a certain player, you know, just play within the system and yada yada yada, and that shit didn't work. It didn't work. They had to just let them two go.
I agree.
I don't think it was Jerry saying don't throw it to CeeDee Lamb. I know that's a conspiracy. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah. So let me ask you another question. With the Saints, with their offense, do you believe the scheme worked if the players didn't execute?
Do I believe the Saints scheme worked?
Yeah, if the players didn't execute, do you think the scheme is that awesome that with poor execution it would still work?
I don't think anything works with poor execution, but I don't think you need stupendous execution in a scheme that helps put guys in best position. You don't need these all-pro players. You don't need guys out there that have to be 100% perfect on every play because the scheme helps you put mediocre guys in best position.
Yep.
Yeah, just do. I don't need you to be amazing. Hey man, just get in the way, right?
Yep.
and this scheme is to help you. Jesse Holly said this about this Shanahan scheme. It takes the thinking away from the quarterback, right? And I'm not even talking about the offensive line, but when I can go into a game with that advantage already, the rest of it becomes easy.
And what I noticed with the scheme, what these guys do, they don't just depend on the offensive line for blocking. Everyone is involved. The wide receivers on the outside are involved with blocking. Everyone is involved with blocking. And when you look at some plays, a few plays that we try to copy and we try to do, we have our wide receivers like Jalen Tolbert, Brooks, they're on blocking. So I would be excited to see maybe Flournoy as a big body getting in there and actually blocking when we have certain runs, sealing the outside. Because when you look at these schemes like San Fran and other teams, everyone is involved with the blocking, not
That's
just
a
the offensive
philosophy,
line.
man. That's a philosophy. It's Florida ain't gonna save you, bro. I want to see him in there just because I want to see him. But if you're thinking of Florida saving you, you in for a rude awakening. But again, that's what I talked about earlier about when you look at San Fran, Detroit, Houston, New Orleans, the Packers, all of them. If you go look at how they play, is similar because it's a philosophy. They know, hey, I have to help in the run game because our run action is so important to our pass action. Yeah. It's philosophy that's built from top to bottom. Our philosophy on offense is soft as hell. Hence, you breed a very soft team.
Facts.
My opinion, but
yeah, because when you look at those other teams, they have strong wide receivers and they're blocking. Whereas when our offense tries to run, we might get in the second level, but you have a cornerback that could come down and make the play. Where that would have been one of the wide receivers blocking. If he did blocking, it would have been a bigger run. So, like I say, everyone is involved with it. With us, it's just lazy and lackadaisical. Okay, I'm not in the play. I'm not really going to really block. I'm just going to...
Because there's no purpose, bro. Like, if you go look at the scheme...
No, exactly. There's no purpose.
Yeah, well, there's no... It's really no purpose. The only time I saw, I don't want to say the only time, but one of the times vividly I can remember was one of those end-arounds jet sweeps to Turpin last year against the Eagles. There was a pre-snap motion that moved the corner in or the linebacker in just a little bit. You get Tober up to the second level. He seals off just enough. Turpin gets like a 20-something yard gain. Like, there was a purpose to that. This run out the shotgun up the gut. What is that? Like,
yeah. Same play, different season.
Indeed, bro.
Hey, my last thing before I go.
Hurry up, in close.
Yeah, my last thing before I go, I just want to say, it also looked, at one point in time, it looked like the Cowboys, the team, they had an amazing party Saturday night. Everybody showed up at the game with a hangover. Every last one.
Hold on.
Everyone
Wait.
just was.
You said somebody had a party on Saturday?
Yeah, it looked like the whole Cowboys team had a party on Saturday night.
Oh,
and everybody woke up late. Everybody woke up drunk. Everybody woke up with a hangover. Because the whole team, every personnel looked, like they still were strong side. It looked bad.
You know, it might be something to that, man. Let me tell you why. But appreciate the call, man. Good stuff.
Thanks.
Dak said something in the presser. He was like, yeah, you know, giving the Saints a lot of credit. You know, he said they came out in a noon game and did boom, 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 boom. And I was talking to Jesse because he had tweeted something out how, like, as broadcasters, we love noon games. Oh, I love it. Get in, get out, get home, be with my family with plenty of time left during the night to chill with them. I said, so Jesse, is this a personal preference? Like, you personally, as a player, you said you hated noon games. Was this something that all the, players in the locker room, or majority of them, was like, He said, nah, like, a lot of players don't really like the noon games. Cowboys, I can't speak for other teams because they probably play a ton of them and used to it. But in Dallas, he is like, it's more like a morning game. You kind of got to get ready at 8 now instead of being ready a little bit later. And he's kind of just giving me a player's perspective. And we don't play a lot of noon games. And by the way, this is no excuse. I'm just trying to provide some context here to what the caller said. And it's like, hey, maybe they was sleepwalking. Well, clearly they were sleepwalking. But maybe quite literally like, we don't play at 12 and we'll give it a quarter or two. Meanwhile, they're coming out punching. Ain't no quarter or two. After 2 quarters, you was down 35-13. .404. Good morning.
What's going on, big dog? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you?
I'm doing well. How I sound? Because you sound kind of choppy on my end.
Okay, let me see. Let me set up my audio. Let me try to fix it. You sound fine, so apologies if I sound choppy.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We good. All right, real quickly, I'm just here to cut McCarthy's scheme a little bill here. I think that the problem isn't necessarily McCarthy's scheme, and you kind of touched on this too. It's not McCarthy's scheme. But the problem with it is that McCarthy's scheme requires you to beat your person, you to do your job, as opposed to Shanahan's scheme. Like you said, Shanahan's scheme helps players. helps marginal players. It takes a lot off their load. We just need you, hey, just run to this spot. Hey, throw it here. It doesn't require the precision as a Mike McCarthy scheme and a lot of the old school schemes. The problem is we got practice squad players. We're asking practice squad players to step up and beat their man or do their job, and we're asking that on a variety of levels. So your scheme is going to look bad when that happens. So no matter if we motion more, or if we not, we're still going to come back to the same problem, is that we don't have the horses to run this scheme. And then also real quickly, you like to make a point of, and you've been saying it for years, at least with McCarthy, I want them to take some of this creativity from the Shanahan scheme. And the problem with that is, with the Shanahan scheme, they really don't do much. At the basis of his scheme, it's a zone run offense married to a play action off of the zone run. That's at the basis. They dress it up a lot. That's the creativity. And that dressing up, the snap motions, the change of formations, that will require a whole off season to install. So you can't take that creativity mid-season.
Sir.
Yes.
How long has McCarthy been here?
About 4 years, but he's only ran the offense.
Wait. At no point in time did I have some delusion of this team totally changing their offensive philosophy mid-season. I even said
I'm not saying that. I'm saying, but you do like to say we need some of that creativity. We need some of that creativity.
I've been saying that since March. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let me help you out. I've been saying that since March of 2021. We are in September of 2024. You had 3 years to implement this type of stuff. It was not until last year, probably around week 3 or 4, you started to see them actually still into push motion. And guess what? That's about all they took. And they still do this push motion. And it's so garbage. It's trash. It does nothing anymore. Teams have adapted to it. So I'm not sitting here saying, and I even said it in today's show, I'm not asking you to be these teams, right? But some of what they do is not, like you said, rocket science to take. It's not rocket science to take. And if you're talking about actually overhauling the whole offense, then yeah, that needed to be done in the offseason. But guess what? McCarthy's not that type of dude. He's an older coach that's stubborn in his ways, hence why I was looking for a coordinator or head coach that runs this style of offense after last year. So that what you're saying is preaching to the choir. And then the other part where you said, McCarthy's offense requires guys beating this and beating that. I mean, that sounds like that sounded like a little bit like Kellen's offense for a minute there. But I disagree a little bit with you saying McCarthy's scheme is not an issue. I absolutely think it is. It's archaic. And if lucky for him, and we'll see how lucky this year, because he has a Dak and a CD Lamb. I mean, if he didn't have a Dak and a CD Lamb, this thing will look even crazier. And the reason why I say it is an issue is because, well, why keep running in mud when you see the rest of the league going a certain way and these things are working? Why would you try to fight against it? Your Cowboys aren't going to go sign or trade for Devontae Adams, right? Your Cowboys, or at least this past year, they're not going to adjust their run game scheme or whatever. You know that. So if you're not going to go get these, as you call it, guys better than practice squad players, then you need to bring in a scheme that helps these so-called practice squad players. That's why McCarthy's scheme is an issue.
That's why my issue is always going to be Jerry, regardless.
Jerry brother.
Signs one of these Shanahan.
Well, yeah,
I know we're preaching to the choir. Listen, I know we're preaching to the choir. But Jerry is the problem. My thing is McCarthy's scheme, though. Even though he had multiple off seasons, the problem is McCarthy's scheme has more variety than a Shanahan scheme. It has more variety as far as the route concepts. Even in the run game, they do multiple things in the run game. Whereas again, Shanahan, and I'm overgeneralizing, I'm oversimplifying Shanahan, but it's essentially just a zone run scheme. To now try to put the creativity, the at snap motions, that marry that to your variety of offense.
What variety?
It would require a rehauling of your offense, require a rehauling of your offensive concept.
My boy,
and
you talking in circles. You talking in circles because I just said
Yeah.
I understand that this ain't. You watched the show, fam. I didn't just come on here in week 2 and say, "Yo, let's go steal." And I'm using the term "steal," but let's adapt our run game.
You've been saying it for years.
Years, dog. Years, fam. So what you're saying really doesn't add up because I'm not asking him to week 2 and week 1 and week 2 it sucked. Let's go be the Niners. Like, man, they should have been doing it. What have I been saying for weeks and months? I don't trust that they're going to change the run scheme. Thus, I don't believe in this backfield. Thus, they probably need to get a dude at running back, and they ain't probably not going to do any of that. And I'm just talking about run wise. And I said something earlier where I hear people do this all the time. Oh, ain't nothing special about the Shanahan scheme. Ain't nothing special about the Kubiak. Ain't nothing special because all they do is wrong. The fact that they can do 10, 11, 12 different things out of one look is absolutely special. Absolutely.
But they're not really doing 10, 11.
Yes, they are.
They're
Yes,
doing 10, 11.
Bro.
They're doing 10, 11 motions and formation changes.
That's what I'm talking
and
about.
they're running the same zone run.
That's what I'm talking about, bro.
It's the dressing up. Yeah, we're saying the same thing. We're talking the same.
That's what I'm talking about. That's creative to me. That is creative and gives you an edge. And we can poo-poo a little motion, but go watch this Saints game and watch at the last second the tight end at snap motion that forces the linebacker to go out wide. And next thing you know, Shaheed is in the middle wide open.
That is the creativity. Absolutely. That's what causes the conflicts. That's why the linebackers look like in most schemes, most defenses, they make linebackers look like that. Unless you dictate into the Shanahan. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. We're having a good discussion there. Yeah, I'm just saying. When I hear that, I'm like, what do you? Not you. I've just seen it on Twitter. You kind of did say it, I guess. But oh man, they're not doing anything. They're just doing this, doing that. Man, I just disagree. I think they absolutely are being creative, especially with their looks. Like I said, they ran 12 and 21 all game out of different looks, right? And they were popping you upside the head, licking their fingers after you got a Baldini and pop with the same looks. You might have a pistol type of look formation. You might have 2 tight ends in the backfield, one on. You might have they ran a lot of condensed stuff. I wish we would adopt that with crossers and things like that. And it might say, oh, it's simple, but guess what? Number one, you ain't stopping it, and number 2, that little simple motion that we talk about gives them that leverage advantage. One of the broadcasters said it. The reason what makes Shanahan one of the better guys is that he understands leverage and he uses it against you, and obviously he passes that down. And look, not just Shanahan, by the way, not just Shanahan, because
it's everybody now, but it comes from that Shanahan tree. Everybody.
Well, it comes from the West Coast tree, and this is what I'm getting at. The West Coast offense has modernized in today's game, and if you fall behind it, you will look like the McCarthy offense. Where the guy that I give the most praise, I know we use Shanahan because it's the hot thing, but my guy is Big Red. Big Red, Andy Reid. Andy Reid still runs West Coast principles, but go look how he adapted his run game. Like, it's not just standard stuff. Go look how he's adapted his pass game as well. Now, obviously, you got, Pat Mahomes, but even when Alex Smith was there, he had a very efficient offense. Because Andy Reid, to me, is the modern day godfather of this West Coast offense. He knows how to change with times.
But the truth be told, McCarthy is like the poor version of Andy Reid.
Oh, hell no!
It's the poor, for real. If you look at what they now again, McCarthy doesn't do a lot of the dressing up, and Reid does a little bit of it. He doesn't do as much as the Shanahan system. But if you look at where they're trying to hit the routes, and also a lot of that creativity is in the KC scheme is the tight end and the quarterback knowing what they're doing, and it's more of the quarterback playing backyard football. But when they're running an on-time offense, it slants, it's underneath, it looks just like what we do with CD, for real. Now. And in the run game, I called in during the offseason. I said this: the run game is what we need to look at because it's a shotgun run game. It's a shotgun run game, But again, we're not asking practice squad players to run it to run this stuff. They got legit dudes. We can't run it with Zeke and Dowdle, and that run game is not going to look the same. But with their run game is between the guards, and it looks exactly like what we try to do with Dowdle, but it doesn't work. You cut me off?
No, I ain't cut you off, sir.
Okay, all right. I can't even see you. I'm gonna replay this because I already know you got some face flicking. You doing something?
I'm just marinating. I'm just marinating
see.
what you said right quick one time for the one time. I'm gonna need you to repeat that. McCarthy is what? McCarthy's what now?
Poor version. The poor version of Andy Reid. But they come from the same. They come.
Don't you
I want to say they even come together.
Put Mike McCarthy in the same goddamn conversation as Andy Reid when it comes to offense.
If you look at the concepts, all I'm saying is the on-time offense concepts. It's not exactly, but it's very similar to what we're doing with CD. It's very similar to what we're doing with CD. The underneath stuff and all. After that, it's Mahomes and the tight end Kelsey. It's Mahomes and Kelsey and how they can play backyard football together. And then in the run game is exact. Pacheco not hitting nothing on the outside. He's getting his yards right up the middle. That's exactly what we're trying to do, and it's out of the shotgun too. What we're trying to do.
You keep digging. You keep digging a hole. You just keep digging a hole further and further and further. Look. With all due respect, bro, because you going. This is fun. You going. With all due respect, if you think I ain't watched film on them boys for the last number of years,
I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying
ain't nothing.
Now that I put the bug in your ear, watch it again. You gonna see it.
Put a bug in the ear. Watch it. I know. I've already watched it. There is nothing that nothing that the Kansas City Chiefs do that is similar to what we do. Everybody has basic routes. Yeah, they run the same basic route trees. Everybody does that. But in the way they do it, we don't do anything like it. In the ground game, and I said this last year, sir. I said this. I don't know where I can pull it up. I think it was when we were playing the Bills, or I don't remember. But I was like, if you look at how the Chiefs run out of shotgun, they are even creative when they run out of shotgun. Don't ever compare it to how the Cowboys run out of shotgun. It's not even remotely close, bro. Not even remotely close.
Okay, not the dressing up, just the play.
You keep saying not. You keep saying not the dressing up. You're using word. Inside zone with things attached to it. That's the creative part. Everybody runs inside zone, but what makes these offenses so difficult to prepare for is it's inside zone with other things happening. Oh snap! I got a tight end going this way. Oh snap! I got a wide receiver behind line of scrimmage. Now I'm play action off of that, and it's a wide open dude down. Like that's a part of it. You can't just say window dressing. Like that's a part of the creativity. You saying window dressing is trying to downplay what it is. We don't do that.
No, I'm not trying to downplay it. No. I'm not trying to downplay it. The window dressing is the creativity. I said that earlier with the Shanahan. The window dressing is the creativity. I'm just talking simply about the play. All
right, bro. You got it, man.
You got it. The play is the same. We're getting to it from different.
You got it.
Love, peace, happiness. Yeah, do your thing.
Hey, when you get a chance, bro, go back and watch. Go back and watch. When you get a chance, you get a laugh.
Okay, all right, got it.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Oh, man, baby, pull out the Dewey on him, man, with the flap out. Y'all know I'm a plum fool. Am I tripping? Because y'all know sometimes I'll get going, right? Sometimes I put the do-rag on and I get going. Andy Reid, Mike McCarthy, they not in the same stratosphere, right? Like, I watch Andy Reid take dudes like Kevin Kolb and Jeff Garcia and Mike Vick, who was done by that time. He was in jail, comes out of jail, and he's in the Pro Bowl. Alex Smith, who was a bust, and sends him to the Pro Bowl, wouldn't play. You know what I mean? McCarthy couldn't win it. Like, McCarthy's offense looked garbage without Dak Prescott and Aaron Rodgers, fam. Am I tripping? Nah, I had fun with that, though. Hey, Marv, send us out of here, man. I'm keeping the do-rag going, Marv. Hopefully I ain't got to use it on you, bro. You said the Somebody sent the cash out for the dude. What's up?
That was boring. Boy, that was horrible. But, man, the offense is garbage. Cowboys offense is garbage. I was telling my friend the other day, I said, why we don't have number 9 running 9 routes with all that speed? Going across the middle to get knocked out. He should be going 9 routes.
Facts, bro.
Number 3 should be going number 3 should be going 9 routes to put pressure. But no. Let me have CD go bombs. Man, this guy. I'm telling you something. I told I said now Darius is right. I'm catching it now. Mike McCarthy offense is boring. Look, he gonna have me and you running up the middle when he should be having Zeke run up the middle. He got Zeke running sweeps when he should have number 42 and 23 running
Marv. Marv, it was 3rd and 1, Marv. They threw a toss to Ezekiel Elliott outside. I mean, we got it. We converted it. But I said, oh, Lord Jesus. And then the same possession, or I think it might be the same possession, we running Deuce Vaughn up the middle 2 times.
Yeah.
Bro, if I'm not mistaken, according to NFL Pro, my bad, Mark, my bad. I looked at how the Saints ran. I believe they ran like 30 times outside the tackle. I could be wrong here. Let me just go get. Let me see something real quick. Hold on. Bear with me. Okay, so they ran roughly 30 times outside the tackle, right? You know how many outside tackle carries Jamal Williams got? None. None. They ran big ass Jamal Williams down the middle of the field, and they sent Alvin Kamara and them boys and the receivers on the outside. They played to their guys' strengths. Now Kamara could do it all, but we talked about this in the build up to the game. Be ready for Kamara to attack the edges. Be ready for Jamal Williams to be the bruiser, and when you get closer to the red zone, he gonna power up and charge up. That's they have a plan.
They got a plan. We got boring football and fat boy. Oh my God.
The bar is so low. Michael H says, "Stop nitpicking. Zeke has had a good 2 weeks at doing what? At what exactly, sir?"
Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
And this ain't even really like, bro, he is what I thought he was going to be for this team anyway. But what are we doing, man? Oh, the shuffle pass. My bad. The shuffle pass, and he got like 16 yards on the shuffle pass play. Yeah. And he scored a touchdown in the red zone in week 1. The goddamn hole was big as a, okay. But come on, man. Stop it. This run game is atrocious. This backfield is at best is mid. At best.
It's worse.
And if you're going to lean on Zeke, you're going to need help. He going to need help. But stop it, man. Stop with this nostalgic stand act. The backfield's an issue. It is what it is, man. I'm tired of poo-pooing it because of people's feelings for the running back, bro. If this was any other team, we'd be laughing our asses off at this backfield. I digress.
Oh, God. I'm going to tell you something. This guy I'm so mad. This offensive coordinator, he make the players look sorry, y'all. I'm going to tell you. They got a big offensive line now. He making the players look pitiful. His play calling is horrible. If you had Deuce Vaughn, I don't even know if the man can run to the outside. McCarty, why you got him on the team? This guy, 175, running him up the middle every game. Nothing. They know man, I'm so mad. He is killing this offense, McCarthy, man. And I'm telling you something. He come out this week running the same thing, we're going to get our ass whoop again because they're going to try. And the D tackles, horrible. I told you. Now,
Hey,
Man, you said
hold on, Marv. We had some hope for the D tackles. We was hoping they was going to do a little something, and then they was doing a little bit of nothing on Sunday, fam. So, about all that.
Oh, my God. That was horrible. But now, like when me and you was, I got excited, remember? I watched all the pieces in the game. I went to the practices, and I even said to Coach Z, I said, Coach Z, for all the D linemen, I said, number 96 is a beast. The young boy, he the best out there. All the dudes looking at me. I said, yeah, number 96, he ain't getting moved because he's young. He needed one young with an old guy. The old guy is getting knocked 5 yards and it's making the linebackers look sorry.
Out of curiosity, I just wanted to go see what TP was doing over there. He had 100-something yards in this game, huh?
Yeah. Look, you finna crack up. Every running back this week, a lot of them ran for 150, 160. Even the Redskins halfback ran for 100.
Y'all see what's the rookie, Braylon Allen? Sure would be nice.
Yeah.
Sure would have been nice, man. I'm telling you, the way we do this thing, this backfield, it's not gonna work. You got to get a dude. You just have to have a dude.
Oh my God, that dumb.
In closing, Marv. In closing, bro.
In closing,
yeah.
That fourth pick should have been a halfback. That should have been Trey Lance. He shouldn't even be on the team, man. Trying to be cute. You know you're gonna keep your quarterback, but you're trying to be cute, and it backfired. You paid the dude $60 million anyway, and it ain't his fault. I guarantee you, I'm going to keep saying it again. If he is in Shanahan offense with the 49ers, the guy probably would have won a Super Bowl, Dak Prescott.
I agree.
Yes. Right?
But all right, brother.
I'm pissed. All right, man. Salute.
Appreciate you, Marv. Salute. Yeah, I saw Braylon, but Braylon Allen got like 3 touchdowns already. Stop tagging me and Braylon Allen stuff on Twitter. Just stop doing it. Let's get to some super chats real quick on the way out. Almost one past my allotted time. I got somewhere to be. Let's see here. Appreciate you, Matt. Matt dropped 5. Matthew Lennox, friend of the show,
Super
friend
chat.
in real life. Comparing McCarthy to Andy Reid should be a felony with a minimum sentence of 10 years. To be fair to my guy, and you know damn well we're going to have fun with it, he was calling him the poor man's version, but I don't even want to put those two dudes in the same sentence. And where he was not wrong, though, is that, yeah, they both come from the West Coast, the OG West Coast tree. The difference is one guy has been a pioneer in advancing the West Coast, while the other is trying to figure out what the hell is going on around the league from a modernized standpoint. 17, right? Yeah. Okay. We them boys dropped actually 2 twice, which is 4. He said, Jerry just said on the radio he loves running back room. Can't blame Zim. We have too many low IQ players. Now, I don't know about too many, but it probably is a handful. I mean, like, I don't know. You don't know either, but that could be the case. Jerry said he loves. I mean, what else Jerry gonna say? Listen to that man. Ezekiel Elliott's in that room. He loves Zeke. Coleman dropped 5.
Super chat.
He said, bruh, Saints fans really watching our content creators, but they keep Jerry rich, no cap. Hey, all fans of opposing teams are welcome. Don't shoo them away. Come on through. We have a lot of fun over here, and we really debate, man. We really, or at least we have conversations. We have real conversations. You know what I'm saying? Fun one, man. Absolute fun one. And don't forget, every day our show is presented by our good friends, our good sponsors, our good partners over at Specs Wine, Spirits, and Finer Food. Specs is your one-stop destination for unbeatable selections of beer, wine, and finer foods. Whether you're planning a party or just looking for that perfect bottle, Specs has you covered. Great prices, expert advice, and the best brands. You'll find it all at Specs. Here's the cool thing about Specs. They can deliver it to you on game day, or you can go pick it up curbside. You shop online. They have an app. You can easily place your order at your local Specs. And there's a bunch of locations. I mean, I'm telling you, there's a location anywhere in Texas. Just type it in. That's Specs. Cheers to savings. Shouts out to you. All right, with that said, I'm going to get up out of here. Press this button.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
The Specs sell run schemes. Hey, man, you drink enough, man. Just might. You just might. Somebody called it the Mess Coast. That's crazy. Are we over the Texas coast now? The Mess Coast is crazy. We out here. Love y'all. Peace.